Hi, this is Maria with the Bead Club. We're going to be making a simple right angle weave bracelet today. You'll just need some 4mm round pearls and some size 11 seed beads. And let's get started. I just have a size 10 beading needle threaded with a comfortable length of thread. Feel free to use whatever brand you like. I'm using Fireline. First, we're going to pick up one 4mm, one size 11 seed bead, one 4mm, one 11/0, and we're just going to alternate this until we have 4 of each of these beads on our needle. And whatever, if you start with the 4mm pearl, you should end with a seed bead, and vice versa. If you started with an 11/0, you should finish with a 4mm. Now we're going to turn those beads into a circle. Leave a short 4 to 6 inch tail so that you can weave it into your work and end your thread off later. We're going to take our needle up through our 4mm pearl from the tail end. So this is my tail down here, and I'm taking my needle up through the pearl from that tail end. I'm just going to pull our beads into a nice circle, just like that. So now I'm going to try to get my needle to this pearl opposite the one that my thread is currently exiting. So this is my working thread here, coming out of the right side of my pearl. So I'm going to continue along the right side of my circle, going through the 11/0 seed bead, the next 4mm pearl, and then through the following 11/0 seed bead and 4mm pearl. And you'll see that now my needle is coming out of the pearl that's directly opposite the one I started. And if you like, if your beads are a little too loose for you here, you can actually go all the way back around and then try to come out of this same pearl opposite where your tail thread is exiting. It's totally up to you. From here, we're exiting this. Let's get my tail thread out of the way. We're exiting this pearl here. We're going to pick up one 11/0, one 4mm pearl, one 11/0, a 4mm, an 11/0, 4mm, and one more 11/0. So you'll have a total of 3 pearls and 4 seed beads on your needle. You're going to create another loop of beads just like this one, but you're going to be sharing this pearl that you're now exiting with this new loop. So my thread, sorry, let me just zoom out a little bit. It's a little bit blurry, I think. My thread is exiting the left side of this pearl, and I want to take my needle through the opposite side from where my thread is exiting, from right to left. And again, you pull that tight. So I'm just going to flip my work over so it's easier for me to work with instead of trying to angle my hand to follow my beads. I'm just going to turn my work over. So now, because I'm right-handed, it's just easier for me. So now I'm going to take my needle through the next 11/0 pearl, 11/0, and I want to be exiting this pearl up here. And you just pull your thread tight as you work. So now you have your 2 circles of beads here, and you're just going to keep adding these circles of beads until you've reached your desired bracelet length. And don't forget about the length of your clasp. You don't want to make your bracelet too long. So once again, we're going to repeat that, picking up a seed bead first, a 4mm pearl, seed bead, 4mm pearl, and continue like that until we have three 4mm pearls and 4 size 11 seed beads, just like that. You always start with a seed bead because you're exiting a pearl, or you should be exiting a pearl. So again, you take your needle through your pearl from whichever side is opposite where your thread was exiting. And again, I'm going to flip my work over just so it's easier for me to handle. To continue through my 11-0, my 4mm pearl, my 11-0, and then finally through that top center 4mm pearl, and pull tight. So you can kind of see how it's starting to form. I'm just going to repeat this one more time just so you get the hang of it. So again, I've picked up 11-0, 4mm, 11-0 until they have 3 4mm pearls and 4 seed beads. And my thread is exiting this left hand side of my pearl. So I'm going to take my needle around and go through the right hand side of my pearl. So you can see I'm always taking my needle through the side that doesn't have the thread. So wherever the thread is, you go the opposite side. If I was to go this direction from the side where my thread is, I'd basically be kind of undoing my work. So you always want to go the side that's opposite where your thread is exiting. And you should always get a nice circle of thread forming around that bead. If you're not getting that nice circle of thread, then you've gone the wrong direction. And there you go. And once again, I'm just gonna flip my work over so it's easier for me to go through the next set of beads. So 11, 4mm, 11, and then this top 4mm here. And when you're tightening your thread, you want to kind of follow the direction of the thread path. You don't want to be tugging your thread this way because you're not really doing yourself any favors. You'll probably be slackening your work more. So since your thread path is going around in a circle like that, you always want to tug your thread, in that direction, not against it. So this is what you'll have so far. 4 circles of beads with pearls, 4 circles of pearls, with seed beads in between each one. Now, as I said, just continue until you get your desired length minus the length of your clasp, and I'll be back to show you how to make that turn to continue down the second row of your bracelet. Alright, I've reached my desired length and I'm not making the entire bracelet, I just have a little sample piece here, just enough to show you what you need to do to complete yours. So now we're at the point where we need to add our clasp. We're coming out of the top center pearl as always, as if we were going to add another unit of beads. But here I'm going to make a turn so that I can actually add this second row of beads, because you can see I actually have 2 rows to make up the bracelet. So how we're going to make that turn, and then I'm going to add my clasp. we are going to come out of one of these side pearls here. Now it just depends on what direction your thread is coming out of. You're just going to continue in that same direction and come out of one of these side pearls. So if it was that, I'll flip it over. If it was that your thread was coming out on the right hand side, you would just continue down along the right hand side and come out of this center pearl here. No, it really doesn't matter. It just depends on how you have your bracelet turned. But I do know, if you're just starting out, it may be a little confusing. So whichever side your thread is coming out of, you just want to continue along that side. So as I have mine turned to the left hand side, I'm just going to continue down and come out of this left hand pearl here on the side. So we're going to continue down through the very next 11 size 11 seed bead and our next pearl. So now you can see my needle is coming out of the side pearl on that very last unit of beads I have going on there. And we're just going to pull our thread all the way through. From here, I want to add, I'm going to flip my work. I'm going to add an 11/0, 4mm, 11/0, 4mm, and on until I have the same 3 4mm pearls and 4 size 11 seed beads that you've been adding all along. Nothing's changed here other than which pearl you'll now be coming out of. So my thread is coming out of the pearl towards me. I'm going to take my needle through the opposite side of that same pearl and just come down and add those beads. So again, you'll see that lovely circle of thread forming around that pearl. You know you've gone the right direction. So now you can see we have 2 units of beads side by side. And that's exactly what you want. And now we're going to make our way back around so that we can add our clasp. So again, it really doesn't matter which direction you go. You just need to make sure you follow the thread path. So because we're coming out of the center pearl that's shared between both of these circles of beads, we can either continue down along this right hand circle through the seed bead, pearl, and on until we come out of this top pearl here. Or we can go the left hand side and basically you do the same thing. You go through the the seed bead, 1 seed bead, because you see they're 2 side by side, but this top one is the one that is in this unit of beads here. So you go down through the seed bead, pearl, seed bead, again they're 2 side by side, and you can see which one is in this unit of beads, and on until you get up to this top pearl here. I'm going to go the right hand route. So I'm just going to take my needle through the very next size 11 seed bead, the pearl, the seed bead doesn't seem to want to go through there, and pull nice and tight. Keep your thread tension nice and tight, and up through the next pearl and seed bead, and then through this top pearl here. All right, so we're coming out of this top pearl. Now we want to add our clasp. So I'm going to pick up about 5 of my 11/0 seed beads, and I'm going to pick up my clasp, and I usually have a jump ring on my clasp to add a little more freedom, but as I said, just doing this for demonstration, so you do what suits you. So I've added my 5 seed beads and my clasp. I'm going to go back through that very last seed bead I put on, which is the one right next to my clasp, just one, I'm going to pull my thread through, hold my clasp, and pull the thread nice and tight. And you can see my work is flipped over. And I don't want to confuse you, so I'm going to try to keep it in the same orientation. So then from there, I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads. I picked up 5 to start with, and now I'm picking up 4 because we're going to be sharing that top seed bead there. And I'm exiting the pearl on this right hand unit. I want to go through the top pearl in my left hand unit. So just like that. From here, we are going to reinforce that clasp. So however you make your way around, you just make sure that you're coming out of the pearl so that you can reinforce this, the beads holding your clasp. So I'm just going to go down through the next seed bead, pearl, seed bead. Pull that nice and tight. Again, through here. And as I said, just going to cheat just a little bit and go through. I was exiting that seed bead on the left hand side. I'm coming out through the seed bead and the following beads on the right hand side. You'll never see it. Can you tell? And on until you get back to the top pearl here, where you can then reinforce your beads, your clasp. So again, we're going to repeat just what we did the first time. You're going to go up through the first 5 seed beads, through our clasp or the jump ring that we've put on, whatever you have on there, back down that center seed bead, and down the 4 seed beads on the other side. And again, we're gonna just come around through the beads so that we're coming out of this pearl at the bottom of our right hand unit. So we're gonna come all the way around our left hand unit, and when we get to the bottom here, we're just going through the pearl and the seed bead of the left hand unit. No cheating this time. I'm going to go up through the center pearl that's shared by both the left and the right units, through the seed bead between the 2 pearls, oops, oh dear, I have a knot. Okay, there we go. Then through our top center pearl there, down our side pearl, and across through, there you go, through the bottom pearl of our right unit. So here we are. Now we want to continue adding the rest of our units just like this, but on the right hand side. So to do this, we're going to be sharing these side pearls with our new units. Just like when we were coming up this way, we were sharing this middle pearl here. This is going to become our new middle pearl of sorts. But there's a little bit of a tricky step in between adding these units. You're going to need to fill in the seed bead that will be caught between these two pearls. I'm just going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to pick up 1/11 seed bead. Our thread is coming out of this bottom pearl of our right hand unit. And we're going to take our needle through the side bead, the side pearl of the next unit down. So our needle is coming out of this pearl here, and we picked up one seed bead, and we're going through this side pearl one unit down. And when you pull your thread through, ta-da, now you have a complete set of 4 seed beads in between those circles of beads there, just like we do on this one. And we're going to continue adding our beads from here. We pick up 1/11, 1 4mm, 1/11, 1 4mm, and 1/11. Now you'll notice we're picking up 1 less beads than we were all along. We now have 2 4mm pearls and 3 size 11 seed beads. Why? Because not only are we sharing this side pearl, we're now going to be incorporating this bottom pearl into our units as well. So we really only need to add 2 pearls of our new units. So we're coming out of this side pearl right there. We're going to take our needle through the bottom pearl of this last unit, just like that, just the pearl for now. And you pull your needle through, and now you see you have, so that's just some dye that came out of the end of my pearl. And now you see you have a new unit of pearls along the side of your bracelet. You're going to continue through the seed bead that you added on its own. And then down our center pearl. And when I say center pearl, I mean the one that's shared between the two sides. Then we're going to continue through the next 11 and the next pearl. So now we're exiting this bottom pearl of our second right hand unit from left to right. And from here we're going to repeat. You pick up 1/11, 1 4mm, 1/11, 1 4mm, and 1/11. So again, you have 2 4mm and 3 size 11 seed beads. And we're going to add another unit, but as you know, right angle weave kind of changes direction. So whereas we were going anti-clockwise the first time, now we're going to be adding our beads clockwise. I think this is what confuses a lot of people about right angle weave actually. So with our beads on our needle, we are going to take our needle up through the side pearl, 1 unit down, and just pull that through. And again, we've added another unit. But do you notice one of our beads, one of our seed beads in the middle is missing? Here we had 4, a nice complete circle. Here we only have 3. So just like we did the last time, we're going to pick up a single seed bead, and this time we're going to continue through the next pearl in line in our circle. And there you go. So I'm going to show you one more time, or a couple more times. So I'm just going to continue down. You want to be exiting this bottom pearl here. And now we're going to be repeating what we did the first time. So you're going to add your seed bead first. So you pick up 1 size 11 seed bead, and you just go down through the center pearl. And again, you'll see now we have 4 seed beads in the middle. You pick up 1 11/0, 1 4mm, 1 11/0, 1 4mm, and 1 11/0. And then you're going to go through the bottom pearl of our last right hand unit. And here you're just going to continue down, because you've already added your seed bead. Continue down. So that you're exiting this bottom pearl of our last right hand unit. Once again, 1 11/0, 1 4mm, 1 11/0, 1 4mm, 1 11/0. And we're going to take our needle up through that center pearl, pick up a single seed bead, and go through oops, you just want to go through the pearl. Sorry, I went through the seed bead. There you go. So that's what you'll have. So that you have your 4 seed beads in place. And we're just going to continue like this until you've reached the end of your bracelet, remembering to add that single seed bead in between each new unit of beads. And you're going to add your clasp the same way you did before. Weave your thread into your bracelet and make several half hitch knots. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and check out our new Etsy shop, the Bead Club Lounge, for more tutorials in PDF form. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and view our others. Keep watching, keep sweet, keep beading. Bye-bye.